What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things. Tomorrow morning I'm going to be flying from Colorado out to Pennsylvania to visit family for just a few days, and I figured this would be the perfect time to bring you guys an everyday carry as I'm flying, like an airport EDC. Now obviously I don't fly every single day. I honestly try to avoid plane travel as much as possible, but sometimes I just have to hop on a flight to get somewhere. So what we're looking at today obviously isn't an everyday carry, however it is what I bring with me basically every time I fly. Now one of the main things that I do when I fly is I try not to check a bag as much as possible. I hate dealing with airports. I really just hate air travel because you're so limited on what you can bring, and you got to stick with all these guidelines. Obviously there's a lot of tools that I would typically be carrying that I can't carry with me. Bags get lost all the time. So if I'm traveling somewhere by plane and it's going to be less than 7 days, so about a week, I will generally not check a bag. This trip is only going to be from Friday to Sunday, so I have packed everything that I need in this Vertex EDC Ready Pack right here. Good old faithful backpack. I've done a lot of videos on these in the past. And luckily I do not have to film on this trip, so I just have a few work items minus my camera gear. So as you can see, this bag is packed fairly lightly. I just have a few changes of clothing in here for about 2 to 3 days, toiletries underneath there as well, and then my MacBook, which is what I do all of my editing with while I'm on the road. And then the main thing that I'm using for work but also entertainment while I'm on my flight is my iPad mini. I've used all different types of tablets and iPads, different sizes for what I do for work. Obviously a lot of photo editing, thumbnails for videos and things like that. Started with the large iPad, scaled down to the mid-size, and then eventually I went down to the mini, and I absolutely love this thing. It has like the magnetic cover on here so you can use it as a kickstand to watch movies on your flight. The iPad mini for me is a perfect size because I don't need a whole lot of computing power. I'm really just watching movies on my flight, sometimes drawing in Procreate, and making thumbnails, editing photos, things like that. I do have the Apple Pencil here because I use that with photo editing software and things like that. So really dig this iPad, and that's about all that I'm carrying in my backpack. But in a few recent videos, a lot of people have seen me carrying a new pack and they're like, hey, what is that thing on your chest? If I did happen to check a bag, say this one right here, and I did not have this with me on the flight, the only bag that I would have with me is this right here, which I've been carrying and testing out for a few months. And I really enjoy this pack. This carries all of my essentials for when I'm traveling by plane, but also I find myself using this just kind of like daily in my life right now. Now, one of the last EDC style videos that I brought you guys was talking about carrying your everyday items in like a little pack, and I wasn't really sold on it. It didn't really fit my lifestyle. I generally like having things in my pocket. However, when I'm running around and I have like a bunch of errands going on, I find myself using this pack quite often. You've seen it around my chest and shoulder, on my back in a bunch of recent videos, and a lot of people hate on dudes who carry bags like this. They're like, oh,
dude, why don't you just have a purse?
And I get that mentality if you think carrying a bag with you every day doesn't jive with your masculinity or whatever. Cool, good for you. I find this thing super useful. So this right here is the modular sling pack coming from Alpaca Gear, and this is a company that I've known about for a while and I didn't have any experience with their products. However, this thing is super high quality. On the outside here, you will of course see my shades. A lot of people ask what sunglasses I wear. Pretty much in every single video. These are the William Painter levels. I've been wearing these sunglasses for quite a long time. They're polarized, they have a titanium frame. They are not cheap, but I'm pretty good with not losing or breaking sunglasses. So these are my favorite shades, and I'll leave a link for this and everything else in the description down below. I don't think I've ever answered that on video. People are always like, yo, what shades you wearing? William Painter levels. So now for the pack itself. Bright orange and black. Of course, I'm on an orange kick lately, so I believe this was like an exclusive colorway coming from Alpaca. They may still be available. The pack is relatively small, but it also has some good width to it because I do have a lot of gear in here. On the back side here, you will notice a strap which you can throw over your shoulder. You can kind of wear this thing up front on your chest or on your side or even on your back, depending on what you find most comfortable. And then there are also 2 Velcro straps here, which allow you to strap this to your backpack. So since I'm traveling around with my Vertex backpack here, I can actually run these straps through the MOLLE webbing or just completely around the backpack straps. And then it kind of just gives you a quick access pouch, which you can add to any backpack. So kind of a cool feature there, although I don't use it all that often. I like keeping all of my gear in this because it keeps my pockets free when you're sitting on a tight little airplane seat for a couple hours. It just makes my life a lot easier. So you have 2 of the Velcro straps and then also a button snap here, so you could actually put this thing around your belt if you wanted to wear it like one of those little camera pouches on your side. Again, that's something that I don't really use. This larger adjustable strap here is removable, and I basically just throw it over my head and I can wear this thing up front kind of on my chest, or flip it around to my back, kind of wear it like a backpack sort of. Again, there's a lot of dudes out there who are like, oh dude, just have a purse, own up to it, have a purse or a fanny pack. Doesn't bother me. I think this thing looks pretty cool and it is super functional. So now let's take a look at what I keep in this pouch right up front here. This big flap is magnetic and this is good for a cell phone. I'm currently carrying the iPhone 13 Max with a pop socket, and honestly does not fit super well. It does fit, the camera pokes out a little bit there, and the magnet doesn't really close because this phone is pretty large. Honestly, I've been wanting to downsize to just the regular iPhone Pro for a while. If I remove the pop socket, it still doesn't close all that well, but there you go. That's kind of what it looks like when your phone is in there. My phone is generally in my hand or in my pocket while I'm traveling, so I don't really use that pocket all that often, just to kind of store my sunglasses. Now for the main pouch, there are really nice weather sealed zippers around the outside, so this thing can get wet when it's outside in the rain or in the snow. You don't have to worry too much about your contents in here getting wet. When you unzip it all the way, it kind of accordions out, and then it has these 2 little pieces of fabric in here that keeps it from opening all the way, of course dumping your items onto the ground. Now first up, most importantly when traveling, I keep right on the outside here, of course, I have a wallet. Now this is the first time in a long time that you guys have seen me kind of going outside of my norm for a wallet, but when I was ordering this pack right here in black and orange, I noticed that Alpaca also makes tiny little card wallets. So here I have a wallet with just 4 cards in it. It is all black, super nice and slim, and then on the inside here there is some orange material and you can stick a couple of bills in there. I don't carry cash all that often, but you can carry a couple $100 in here if you have some big bills. Right now I only have 2 bills in here. Generally the more bills that you put in here, the harder it is to get your cards out of this wallet. 2 bills seems to work perfect for me, and then I just kind of slide the card up and out. I keep my main use cards on this side and then my ID and everything else on the other side. Now moving down in this pouch, there are 2 little elastic straps which you can hold other gear with, and then a deeper pouch that goes all the way to the bottom. On the left hand side here, this is where I keep my business cards. I made custom business cards online, a company called Moo, and I ordered this orange little business card holder in here as well. They offer a bunch of different cases depending on what kind of cards you're making. I made these cards in Photoshop. I'll show you just the back side on there because I don't want to give away some personal information, but Psy Camo on there, Psy Productions, really cool, unique style business cards. And they actually have orange inlaid on the side there, so pretty cool business cards. That reminds me back to one of my early EDC videos when I was talking about carrying business cards. My channel was very small and a lot of comments were people making fun of me for carrying business cards, and I think I got the last laugh because these have become super useful, and of course this is what I'm doing full time now. So it's always nice to have a good business card on you in case you run into people while you're traveling. Next up, right next to the business card holder, I have this little guy here. I believe I got this in a mail time video a long time ago, and it's not something that I talk about very often, but I use this thing quite frequently. It has a little clip on the back here, so I clip that to the inside of the Alpaca pouch. And then there's just a tiny little USB to lightning port on here. Also inside here you have a lightning to USB-C adapter, so you can charge any kind of Android, iPhone, Apple device. There's also a SIM card tool down in here, which I've never used, but it's in there and I don't even think about it. So most of my devices, when it comes to camera stuff, any kind of editing equipment, most of the gear that I carry is either the lightning port or the USB-C. Eventually it should just be all USB-C, but we'll get there eventually. So I keep that little cord in here to go along with this tiny little Halo battery charger. I think I got this as like a Christmas gift. It is, I believe, 5,000 milliamp hours, so just enough to add a little bit more power to whatever devices you're carrying with you. Generally, my phone. It charges up pretty quickly, and there are a bunch of ports on here for whatever you may need to charge. Just like headphones, I of course have fully dove into the Apple ecosystem because it's what I use for everything that I do here. I use Final Cut Pro to edit my videos, which is an Apple product. I use the iPad and Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop and all that stuff to do my work, so I'm still not like a huge Apple guy, but when I of course have an iPhone to use some of that software, the Apple AirPod Pros pair very nicely. Noise canceling, these are technically the older model now, but that's something that I always have to have with me on a flight. Generally with noise canceling on while I'm watching a movie, it will last a full flight, but towards the end they will start to die. I would say right now these have a lifespan of probably like 4 to 5 hours with the noise canceling on them. So not great, but not bad enough that I think I'm going to upgrade anytime soon. And now, since I'm flying and I can't carry my normal tools like I mentioned in the beginning, I do generally always fly with a Travax Talon, and I use this thing kind of as like a makeshift knife when I get to my destination. Generally, you need a knife in your everyday life. So I use this thing to open packages. It's really just like a flat little pry bar on the end. You guys have seen me talk about these a million times. So instead of using this as a carabiner to keep my keys, of course I'm not really flying with my keys very often, I will use this just for its multi-tool function. Bottle opener, Phillips head, flathead, pry bar. It's a great tool and I use it all the time. And then last but not least, I have been carrying a flashlight again, at least when I have this. This thing has not seen any pocket time. It just kind of lives in my alpaca pouch. And this is a light that I opened in my mail time video. This is the Nightcore EDC 27. It has a really nice deep pocket clip. Of course, it's not going in my pocket, but it holds securely in this bag. It has a nice display on here too, which is cool for a flashlight. If I click the normal button to turn it on, it shows 15 lumens and it gives you a runtime as well. Now if I half press that main button, it will bump up to 65 lumens, again up to 200 lumens, and then finally 1,000 lumens. Super bright for a tiny little rechargeable pocket light like this. Tap it one more time to go back into 15, and when I turn the light off and then turn it back on, it's going to remain in the same mode that I turned it off in. Now there is also like a turbo mode on here. If I full press that, it's going to strobe 3,000 lumens, which is pretty wild. If I half press that, you just get momentary on of 3,000 lumens, so kind of like a tactical application there. I generally don't need 3,000 lumens when it comes to a pocket light like this, but it is nice to have. For the most part, I just tap it, turn it on to 15 lumens, and you have a nice light. So that is about all that I carry with me when I'm at an airport, because that's all I really can carry. And if you guys have any questions on anything that you saw here, let me know in the comments down below. I'm curious what you guys carry when you are flying. TSA regulations, all that stuff going on. A handy little bag like this goes a long way because I can just take it off and throw it on the little table in front of me. I have access to all of my gear, headphones, battery, charger, iPhone cable, all that stuff without having to dig into my pocket. So pretty cool pack. That's the gear that I carry. And luckily, because I just filmed this video, I'm all packed up and ready to head to the airport tomorrow morning. So that is all that I had for today. If you guys are new to this channel, consider clicking subscribe. I make new videos every single week. As always, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.